So here we're going to be doing arm day, and for me it's actually one of my more intense workouts. To start, I start with a superset with general Bowflex rows. You want to do it, I do it where I'm most comfortable, so I'm pulling it fairly tight. Elbows are going outward a little bit of a rounded spine to get that back more activated. But I start with a superset with this, and then I go into dumbbell bench press. And the reason I'm doing this is for two reasons. It's to get my arms warmed up and to get my blood flow going. And for me, I like to do it because it makes it so that my arm day isn't just pump day. So I'm really getting my body working hard here. And as you see later on, we get into other supersets as well. So now I'm going to be going into the dumbbell bench press. I only have 50 pounds here, so I can only do so much, but so as you can see, get in place, and then I just kick it backwards, controlled fall. Get my feet planted, so I'm well in place, and really want to roll into it a little bit. You can see there I shifted backwards and rolled my spine a little bit. And I'm pushing from a low point here, just to really help my form, especially after performing this workout after shoulder day. My shoulders are a little bit sore, so I'm pushing from a little bit lower point to activate my chest more and get my arms in a little bit more too. And you're really just trying to pump it out with this workout. And what I'll do is I'll do one warm-up set of each, and then I'll do 3 working of each on that. Now we're going to go right into standard curls. So feet about shoulder width apart, and generally you don't want to be completely straight leg. You can't tell here, but I have a little bit of a tiny bit of a bend. As you go in here, curling inward, you want to try and get a little bit of squeeze action there. You can see at the end I give a little bit extra squeeze, and that really helps to activate your bicep head. Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate the power of that little bit extra at the end. It really helps to get you a proper hit on the muscle there. You really just want to try and dish it out. You can usually do quite a bit more than you think you can. So just keep going until you can't go no more. I do 1 warm up with this as well, and 3 working generally, maybe 2 warm ups at times. Now we're going into skull crushers, and I'm doing this with the dumbbells, as you can see. Generally at the gym I would use an easy curl bar, but the dumbbells work pretty well once you get in the proper form. As you can see, my shoulder actually dips too as my elbow drops there. With the easy curl bar, I don't do that. I keep it more locked position. But I find with the dumbbells, I have to do that, or else my elbow takes a lot of the impact. And I find it works pretty well anyways in terms of giving you a good tricep hit. So you're focusing on that back head of your arm there, on your tricep when performing this. As you can see, I'm going just slightly outward from my body as I'm going up. Just slightly out. Everything's locked in place. Feet are locked in place. That's a powerful workout for your triceps. Got a sweat going now, and we're going to be going into, I apologize for the video here, but I want to show it in a full sequence. So we're going into another variation of the standard curls. I'm doing both arms at the same time, but now I'm doing it on the Bowflex machine. So I just grab the single handles and I do them individual grips like that. So I perform that, and I go over to my dip rack here. If you don't have a dip rack, you can just use a chair and have your feet out front of you and do a back dip, or anything else that you can float on if you want to do a floating dip. If you can find anything else to do it, that's great too. But a bench or chair, you can perform a dip where your feet are out in front of you and you're resting on your heels instead. You can see here I'm just doing a floating dip. It really works your stabilizers as well. Definitely a lot more difficult than having your feet on the ground though. But even in this position, I can put my, you'll see later on here, just to get a couple more out, I end up putting my feet on the ground and performing a couple more. And then you can kind of control how much help your legs are giving you there, as long as you're honest with yourself. Now we're going to be doing hammer curls. And this is great for actually hitting the muscle, the bicep head of your muscle that's, you can't see it, but it rests under the main head that you can generally see. So it just blows up the whole size of your arm. For me, I have a little bit of forearm tendonitis, so this is a rough one for me to perform. I don't do it quite as much as I used to, because it does activate my forearm pain. Now we're going to be supersetting that. Like I said, we do a lot of supersets here. This is actually one of my harder days. You can see I'm sweating buckets out here. We're going to be going into a standard tricep pushdown with the flat bar. So on the Bowflex there, you have it mounted up top. And I'm just going to be pushing downward, you activating my triceps. Shoulder width apart. And I'm really going to, yeah, as you can see, I kind of lean into it there. A little bit of adjustment to do. As you can see though, I'm leaning into it heavily, so I'm over top of it, as if I'm pushing myself up a cliff. This is a great one to perform. You can perform this on your own as a regular exercise too, and go a little bit heavier, and it really activates the tricep heads too. So I like to do it like with this superset though. And to finish it off, we're doing some forearms. Um, if you're a tall guy like me, especially, and have longer limbs, I wouldn't neglect the forearms. It's hard to build them up, so it's good to throw them in at the end of your arm day like this. All I'm doing is a superset. Just hyperextend. As you're doing it, you can kind of play with it a little bit, and you kind of want to have your wrist curling towards. You'll feel what the dominant muscle group is that's activating it, and just try and stick in that position. So for that one, it almost feels like you're rolling it outward, your hand. Taking a breather here. Forearms are one of the most painful workouts in my opinion. And as with many of the supersets, you could do one warm up and three working, or if you feel warmed up already, just jump right into it and do three working on each, which is what I do here. And this one, as you're curling, you almost want to curl inward. As you roll, you're kind of squeezing it inward towards your torso from your pinky, kind of. I find performing these two hit most heads of your forearms. There's other workouts you can do as well. You could actually take that barbell and do a rotate back and forth, and that'll work different parts of your forearms as well. But generally, that's my arm day. I hope you enjoy it.